some really spicy deep dives for you today. We're going to talk about Solana versus Base because there's some beef in the ecosystem. And we're going to retrospectively look at the wet token launch, not the launch, but the actual launch pet and the public sale, what happened back then. So, let's without further ado, dive right in. This is Sol Brothers with myself, Simon, and my good friend Eno, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to help you stay on top of the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I am well nourished, went to gym, had my eggs. I got my cold brew with me because I'm fancy and I'm drinking Starbucks cold brew. Don't judge me for it. But I am ready to chat Solami, and I'm also ready to welcome you to the UAE when you are flying in here soon, which shall be in the next days, I think tomorrow already. So very looking forward to be united again for next episode that is probably going to be in person from Breakpoint. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to hang out. But of course, we have a super packed agenda today, so we want to try to avoid boring our listeners for 2 hours. But certainly, there's a lot to cover, Simon. Even though it's only been a weekend, it's just it's a fire hose of information. You ready to go?
Guys, if you're not bullish enough on Solana, then listen to this. We're going to tell you today why Solana leads not only in devs and in assets, but also in volume and in revenue. We're going to talk about Solana ETFs and how much records we're hitting on that front as well. Solana DeFi TVL is also performing really, really well across major protocols. We're going to cover that. Solstice has some new milestones that we're going to cover as well. And there's been a new project. I actually met the founder, BonkX, and they are making waves on Twitter. We're going to talk about that. DFTV is partnering with a stablecoin company on Solana, and they are targeting a really juicy APY. We're going to talk about squats and some updates from the squats ecosystem on Solana. Lefinity proposes shutdown and asset return. We have Plume, a new app that we're going to cover as well. And we have some really spicy deep dives for you today. We're going to talk about Solana versus Base because there's some beef in the ecosystem. And we're going to retrospectively look at the wet token launch, not the launch, but the actual launch pet and the public sale, what happened back then. So, let's without further ado, dive right in.
Yeah, well, the first thing that we're obviously going to talk about is a video from our very good friend, Pedro Miranda, who works over at Solana Foundation. Let's give it a go.
Whether it be Snapchat, TikTok, other large applications, the cumulative market value of those assets might be greater than AWS. I think ultimately that's net positive for both the application builders and from like an L1 monetary premium perspective. And as Solana still leads, number one in developer growth, net new asset issuance, trading volume, application revenue, I expect that trend to continue. And candidly, we welcome that if people are building successful killer businesses on Solana.
So isn't it weird to watch a podcast on a podcast?
I mean, I'm learning. I'm looking at it. I'm like, damn, that's a nice setup. I wish we would have a setup like this.
Yeah, very soon, my friend.
I know you're working on it. Yeah.
But you heard Pedro.
What's up?
We're number one in developer growth, number one in net new asset issuance, trading volume, application revenue. Like, this is not new news to anyone who's watching the show. And so going into Breakpoint, we're ready to just fucking crush it.
Hell yeah, up and to the right.
Yeah. And the next piece of news that we'd love to talk about is over in ETF world. Now, ETFs have slowed down a little bit this week. The cumulative net inflows were 19 million. Last week, it was at about 100 million. But the winner for this week is, again, ding, 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 BSOL. They have $55 million worth of inflows. So even though the net inflows were 19, BSOL themselves have grown even larger. And what's going on with 21 shares, man? Do you see this?
Yeah, that's the only red number, and it's a big one. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, bringing down the average is what they're doing.
Yeah, guys, stop doing that. We need to pull up the average here. We need more bullish things to talk about. So I don't know. I mean, overall, it looks really good. It looks good when the outside world is buying Solana via ETFs, right? I think especially right now at these prices, right? Fear and greed is sitting still at 20. is really low. So even though there's fear in the market and blood on the streets, normal people are buying Solana via ETFs. That is that for me, that signals conviction. That is good.
Yeah.
Good tech.
Right. And man, Solana DeFi protocols are having a breakout week. We're seeing a big bounce in some protocols on Solana. So like Saros, which is a DEX, has had over 72% surge in TVL. Remora, which is the recently released RWA stocks, MSTR, Tesla, Circle, stock tokenization play. Their TVL has pumped 30%, Sanctum 11%, Flash Trade also 11%, and Loopscale, one of the best looping strategy platforms on Solana, has pumped by 7%. So a lot of notable protocols are increasing in size quite rapidly going into Breakpoint.
Yeah, that is actually interesting to observe, right? Like especially right now, like there's we're not bullish. As I said, fear and greed is sitting fairly low. People are scared, and it seems like people are pulling out money, but people are actually putting in money. Interesting.
Yeah.
That signals conviction. It's a kind of a theme right now of today's stream here.
The tokens, it's so weird. The token is down Sol, but if you look at like the protocol activity, it's up. Everything is up.
Well, but that, my friend, that is still one thing we gotta fix in this industry. For Solana, it's less severe, but for the altcoins, it is more severe. Stats are always looking good, man. Like business is well. Like a lot of the projects on Solana are having good business, and Jupiter is a great example. Like business is good, but the token is kind of shit, and they're not alone. Like everyone is down in the altcoin sector. Why is the liquidity flowing out? Why is no one, because I know why. Because there's not a clear value proposition for the tokens still after 5 fucking years of building. So we still have some shit to figure out. Anyway, the TLDR is that at least business is great and numbers are going up and TVLs are increasing. Do we have more bullish news?
Yeah, one last thing that we'd like to share in this segment of the Solana by the numbers is, USX, which is a new stablecoin on the block minted by our friends over at Solstice, has reached a new TVL all-time high of $326 million. I don't think that is insane in stablecoin world. It's very hard for stablecoins to gain traction. Last I checked, this was at about 100 million. So it's clear that they have some institutional depositors, but it just goes to show that if you have a high yielding stablecoin like USX, I mean, if you deposit USX into their yield vault, you actually can earn about 15%. So that's why I think their TVL growth has been so aggressive. This is not financial advice. It is a synthetic US dollar. It's not as safe. The risk profile is not the same as USDC, which is just collateralized by treasury bills and cash equivalents. But for the risk that you're taking, you're getting 15% yield. So that's all pretty interesting.
What else is interesting is a bunch of big news we have for you in a quick rapid fire format here. When it comes to Solana. So we're going to give you a few headlines right now so that you, don't run out of fun things to talk about with your friends when it comes to Solana. So first and foremost, Bonk just launched the BonkX neobank. Last Friday, the newest project in the Bonk ecosystem was announced at Solana Demo Day here in Dubai and Solana Economic Zone. BonkX is a neobank which integrates IBAN accounts, spending cards, payroll, and stablecoin cashbacks. The waitlist has over 20,000 signups and is led by Branch, a builder from formerly led product experience for a $100 billion a year card program. The Bonk ecosystem never stops shipping.
And next up, DFTV has announced a treasury partnership with Prema, a top Solana stablecoin protocol. NASDAQ-listed Solana Digital Asset Treasury DeFi Development Corp, aka DFTV, announced a partnership with Prema to mint USD Star stablecoins from its reserves, targeting approximately 15% APY yield from delta-neutral strategies, borrow lend markets, and on-chain assets to fund operations, share buybacks, and, of course, SOL accumulation for Solana per share growth, SPS. This partnership will leverage DFTV's idle stablecoin holdings into a revenue stream, enhancing treasury efficiency and shareholder value. Not only that, but DFTV's deposits will be eligible for Prema's points program. The digital asset treasuries need to compete for yield at every possible level, and this is what it looks like when you do it right.
And this next one is really exciting to me. We got some news from the Squats ecosystem, and that is a very useful product. It's called Grid Smart Transactions, and this is what it's about. The feature is a new method to automate on-chain actions, like, for example, recurring payments, very good for payroll, yield optimization, and portfolio rebalancing, without having to develop and audit your own smart contracts. You can build all kinds of workflows for trading, farming, payroll by using custom triggers and parameters like required signers, balance checks, and program allowances. In the near future, you'll be able to design how your money moves on chain with just a few clicks and buttons. I think that is really good for the new wave of crypto companies and very useful tech.
Lefinity has drafted a proposal to shut down the protocol and redistribute all of its assets. This is a bit of sadder news. Lefinity was Solana's pioneering Oracle-based DEX with protocol-owned liquidity. They achieved over $622 million in cumulative volume, improved that protocol-owned liquidity could outcompete centralized players. You can kind of think of them as an early ancestor to prop AMMs like Humidify. The Lefinity team continues to develop V3, but their concern is that the emerging market structures, I don't really know what that means, but I'm very curious what it does mean from an MM perspective, make it unlikely to outperform the current V2 Lefinity model. And to be clear, the new generation of prop AMMs have completely eaten away Lefinity's market share. And so it makes sense that they would put up this proposal. The current proposal asks that they should shut down operations and distribute treasury assets proportionately to Lefinity token holdings. So a bit of sadder news, but it is what it is.
On the other side, I got one more for you guys, a new update from a protocol called Plume, and they're bringing real world yield to Solana. It has been launched in July 2025. It's backed by investors like One Ventures. Plume is an RWA protocol that has announced 5 nest yield vaults on Solana, backed by institutional assets from Wisdom Tree, Hamilton Lane, Black Opal, Securitize, and Superstate, delivering yields from treasuries, private credit, and receivables. If you want even more exposure to real-world assets, the Plume's Loop Scale integration is set to support leveraged RWA looping for amplified returns while maintaining over-collateralization. Very interesting DeFi stuff going on here.
I mean, obviously, if you're bullish on a very stable, like RWA looping out of all the types of looping makes me the most excited because, let's say that you have something that's very safe that only does, let's say 5% yield, like treasury bills, right? Maybe 4%.
Yeah.
But then, if you could do, I mean, I don't know how much they would let you loop this, but if you could do, 10x looping on US Treasury bills, that's nuts, right? It's very capital efficient, and you get way more yield for a very low risk profile.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of true innovation, right? You can't do this anywhere else as easy as that. I'm pretty sure you can do it in traditional finance somehow, but you gotta fucking study finance and have to have a few good friends to give you access to whatever the fuck you use. I have no idea how to do this in the real world, and I studied finance, so this is definitely making user experience much easier. Really, really bullish on that. Before we head over into the next section, what do you think about opening a very quick and small trade on Flash Trade? Because Solana is pumping right now, and there might be, with all this volatility, there might be a good entrance here. We can chip in
I'm bullish on that. Pulling up your screen right now, my friend.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I am logged in here into my my small alternative account here on Flash Trade. We're looking at the Solana chart on the 15-minute chart here, and I think I'd like to go long actually, because I think the momentum is there right now, even though we're highly oversold and blah 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 on the RSI, but that's just 15 minutes. I do think there is still potential we can go higher, but let's just do like that. Let us open. Let's see if we can, how far away can we open the order here? I'd like to open a limit buy. Just put in $20 here, and we're gonna put like a good juicy. Let's just do a 50x. Let's keep it easy for today. And then let's see if we can manage to reach this level. Oh, actually, are we reaching it right now? I didn't. Oh, no. Okay. So I put in a limit order 137.67. So if the price is going to go down until there to kind of retest this area here, because I think it could happen that the RSI is going to pull back a little bit. Right now we're trying to break through here, so there's definitely resistance. Let's see. Maybe we can catch a trade here and then go up from there. If it doesn't trigger and we start pumping, then that's fine. Then we're gonna keep it easy for today. Let's keep it open while we're yapping about the last deep dive topics here on today's podcast. What do you got for us?
Oh man, we're going to talk about the namesake of this podcast. We're deep diving into Vibhu versus everyone. It seems like have you been paying attention to this? Like Vibhu is like picking fights with just about everybody outside the Solana ecosystem.
Yeah, he's having fun, man. He's having fun. He's waking up every morning. He's like, today I'm gonna take them all out. These motherfuckers. Like he's ready to fight, bro. I'm scared of him now to see him at Breakpoint. He feels like he's on something.
Yeah, it reminds me of when I first joined Solana and Mert's tweets used to flood my timeline. It kind of feels like the second coming of Mert.
Okay. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Where do we even start with this, bro?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with like a little bit of background context. So just a few days ago, there was a tweet from the Base account. And it seemed fairly innocent, right? Like, Base meets Solana, connected by Chainlink. The Base Solana bridge is now live and secured by CCIP, unlocking a native Solana asset support on Base and unified liquidity between both ecosystems. And so, like, on its face, or shouldn't we be happy about this, Simon? Right? Like, when you first see this, it's like, oh, okay, like, we've had our differences with Base in the past, but there's now a bridge between Solana and Base. Like, that's a principally good thing, right? Like, the future is multi-chain.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, is it how wait a second. How Solana Maxi are you really, Is the future multi-chain?
I just think that certain regions will prefer other chains in the same way that, like, certain regions prefer certain phones or prefer certain, ISPs or banks. Like, it's why? Because you get your recommendations for what you use based on what your friends and family use. So, for example, if Avalanche has a stronghold in Japan, there's really not much you can do. Like, once the network effects start to take hold. And that's what's happening in Japan right now, by the way. Avalanche is kicking Solana's ass. And so we're doing a lot to change that, but like, it's a very delicate moment right now. And if we don't stop Avalanche's network effect over in Japan, then just everybody will be using Avalanche in Japan. And that's the end of the story, right? So that's why I think the future is multi-chain, mostly because of region specific, spread.
I mean, everyone uses email, right? There's no second system. Everyone uses the same POP and EMAP servers with the same underlying technology to send emails. It doesn't matter if I'm in India or if I'm in Australia or if I'm in the USA or if I'm in Germany. They're going to know what an email is and they're going to give me their email because the underlying protocol that was established like more than 20 years ago has, caught international global acceptance. So can Solana be the layer for global value transfer? Accelerated by internet network effects, but
no, I mean that's what we want, and that's what we're building towards. We want it to be the Gmail, right? Like, Gmail, to be really clear, has murdered email for everybody. Like, yes, there are other email clients, but like, to be clear, like, Gmail is the clear winner there. But for every Gmail, there's like 10 different ecosystems that are all fractured based on region. Like, I'll use messaging apps as an example, right? Like, the US prefers iMessage, Korea prefers KakaoTalk, Japan uses Line, India uses WhatsApp. I mean, like, just everybody has their own. And then Instagram kind of feels like the universal messaging app for everybody around the world because everybody has Instagram. But yeah, it's not crazy to think that there's going to be a multi-chain future. And so, like, this doesn't.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I think I'm holding on my views and I have a strong opinion, but it's loosely held, and I'm open for multi-chain future while currently believing very strongly in Solana. But zooming in back to this announcement and the drama around it, it is actually not that is not the topic of discussion, right? If you're a multi-chain or
Right.
single chain, no. This is all about, it's more about communications, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm looking at here in terms of my kind of research is that, Base announced this, right? So Base announced the bridge. And then, Vibhu was like, it's a bit of an inaccurate marketing because it is you claim this to be bi-directional, but there was zero Solana ecosystem outreach. And Jesse, I think, came back as well at some point, and he was like, "We begged for 6 months to collab, and we got ghosted." So I think it's more about the comms, if I'm not mistaken. What do you got for us in terms of the context? Am I on the right track here?
Yeah, I mean, Vibhu got he gave an analogy, right? And the analogy is very simple. It's like, let's say that you declare that there's a bridge, and then you go to the other side, and then when you try to come back, there are construction materials for a bridge, but there is actually no bridge. Like, is that actually a two-way bridge? Yeah, he was saying that the marketing was inaccurate, as you rightfully pointed out. And then he had this tweet that blew up, and it blew up because. So this is what you said, which is like you didn't set up a single Solana partner for launch, didn't talk to Solana Foundation, marketing or ops, or dropped a repo. Just dropped a repo. And how everybody on Base took this and Ethereum is, Vibhu was saying that launching on Solana is permissioned. They completely misconstrued his argument and made it seem as if like, well, first you must talk to Solana Foundation before you launch. So there's a lot of bad faith arguments that were made, but at the same time, like, the phrasing is regrettable. It does, if you don't know Vibhu at all, and if you don't know Solana's ethos at all, like, it's not unreasonable that someone would read this and be like, okay, well, are you saying that I have to talk to you to get permission? But yeah, that's why this tweet blew up a lot more than it should have.
Yeah, interesting, right? Like you
250,000 views, dude.
Just throw them a stick, and they're gonna, or you give them the hand, they're gonna fucking rip up your arm. This is how it looks like for me. Like I think the thing is, Solana ecosystem and Solana Foundation, and in particular, Solana Foundation is perceived as this ivory tower entity, like calling the shots, pulling the strings, very kind of centralized. From outside, a few people inside Solana think that, and also from the outside. Do you have that perception, by the way, of Solana Foundation to be in that kind of closed ecosystem, ivory tower? They do their thing. Doesn't really matter what happens on the bottom. You got to ask them for permission and allowance for everything you do. And if you can't make it into their circle, then you can make it on Solana. Like, there's these arguments, especially in the Ethereum community, but even in Solana, we have builders that say that.
So yeah, I fight pretty vehemently with people who say this, because I think that I am a very good example of someone who came to Solana with literally 0 connections, an account with 12 followers, and built my way up, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, I got ignored a lot by a lot of people, and I'm not even just talking about Solana Foundation. I'm also talking protocols, right? Like, but it just kind of feels like people aren't taking responsibility for what's in their power and what's not in their power. Like, if people aren't paying attention to you, then you need to do things that are noteworthy enough to be worth notice. Like, nobody owes you their attention or time. But that being said, I like, as I reached out more and more to Solana Foundation, like, I work with them quite a bit now. Like, obviously I don't work for Solana Foundation, but like, especially the events team, and Vibhu himself, like, we have a decent, relationship. People on the funding side, the engineering side, John Wong.
It's just very forthcoming. Like, they're open to collaborate. They answer your DMs, like, as long as you have good intentions and have, like, ask credible questions, and you're not, if you're stupid, you get stupid answers, again, or no answer. If you ask a stupid question, or just want to farm and chill, whatever. But if you have good intentions, they're gonna back you. They're gonna help you. And they're very forthcoming. What's Matt saying here?
Yeah, I mean, so this is a great example of the type of tweet that was coming out of the Ethereum ecosystem, which is like, Solana guys learned the permissionless world, and then Mert was saying, like, bro, that is not what he was saying. Like, nobody cares that the bridge was built. He's commenting specifically on the messaging being a mutual collaboration and positive sum when only base teams were consulted, and then you had Jesse, who claps back with, I spent 6 months trying to get you to collaborate with this on us, Mert. And he's like, yeah, I knew it was coming. Mert was basically saying he was busy. And then then Jesse goes into further detail, saying that like, look, we tried to talk to Foundation too. That includes Toli and Solana teams, etc. And then Matt Sorg, who has worked at Foundation for a very, very long time, jumps into the chat. He's much more diplomatic, right? And he's saying that like, look, I was added to some channels. The reason why we didn't collaborate with you is because we didn't have a clear ask from the base side. We didn't completely understand what you guys wanted. And so they go, there's a lot of back and forth, but the long and the short of it is the base ecosystem seems to be stirring up a lot of drama with bad faith arguments. And that like there was room for reasonable doubt about like what exactly happened in the communications between base Foundation and Solana Foundation. Yes, Matt acknowledges that they talked to each other, but that the asks weren't very clear.
Can we take a look at this Jesse post here before you pull up Matt's the intention he said here, like we want a bridge that is bi-directional into kind of both in both directions, for base builders to go to Solana and for Solana builders to go to Solana. Our thesis is that this is win-win for both ecosystem. We're thinking we get there by working towards an enshrined trust minimized bridge that proves the state transition functions on either side. Yeah, like let's see what Matt is saying, but I think we're arriving at a point now where we don't really need that. Like, do it if you want, but what do you want from us? Like, it's I don't know. Do you need to open like group chats for that and be like, again, like as Matt probably said as well, the ask is not clear here. What do you want from the Solana ecosystem? Really, like we're doing our thing here. We're building our. I think we're also fairly big and larger than you guys on the base side of things. If you want your base builders to have an easy way to bridge to Solana, okay, sure, go ahead. But what's the ask? Like, what do they want from us?
Well, I mean, the way that Matt tells it, and this is just his perspective, is that like his DMs only had intros for Alpenglow researchers, right? And he didn't really understand. So it's very plausible that Jesse, from the top down perspective, was telling his team like, hey, we need to make more inroads into Solana. So like that's fair, right? What was the actual? And this is where the details like. The truth always lives in the details, and the details are never really fascinating. It's just usually boring, right? And to me, it just looks like a very clear communication error from the base side and Solana Foundation side about what exactly the ask was. In Matt's perspective, you wanted introductions to Anza for Alpenglow? Like, I don't really understand, like, why? Whereas Jesse is saying something completely different. So they're talking past each other at this point. And not in I think Jesse is speaking in good faith here. But yeah, there was a a bit of a disagreement on what exactly was being asked for. And to your point, it's like this doesn't benefit Solana at all, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't really care.
Exactly, that's the point. Yeah, we don't really care. But yeah, again, like if the expectancies are clearly defined, and that's probably the problem. Like they tried to make Solana more interested in this whole idea of building that TCP/IP bridge with Chainlink, and they wanted Solana to kind of. I think at the end of the day, they just wanted Solana to support this on marketing and to push it. Right? They just wanted to kind of tap into that mindshare of Solana, and then what ended up was that Solana didn't give a shit. And it's like, yeah, we don't really need that. Like sorry guys, but we can't help you with this. Like just ghost them. They just ghosted them. And which basically means that okay, if you want to build a bridge, then go ahead, do it and talk about it or whatever. But don't make it look like we're doing this together, right? Like we're not going to push this. And then yeah, this is what happened at the end of the day. Yeah, here you go.
Vibhu was roasting us or me in the comments. Multi-chain is not the future. Solana is the future.
I'm actually with this one. I'm not always on the same page as you, but in the recent weeks, surprisingly on most things, and I'm with him on that. Like, why do you need? Why the fuck would you? Like, I mean, it's been a narrative for the past 3 years that declined, in my opinion. Like multi-chain, chain agnostic, and all that shit. It was huge when people still thought that Ethereum and all these EVMs and all these layer 2s are going to be working together and it's multi-chain is the future. And then you learned that it is kind of copy pasta big protocols from one layer 2 to the other layer 2, and then throw a bunch of grants from huge fundraise rounds at builders that to attract them to your L2, and whenever the liquidity runs out, they go to the next L2, get the grant there. I literally did that. right? When we were almost broke before we came to Solana. Like I was on that journey. I was one of these people. And yeah, that didn't work. That's not the future as well, right? No one gives a shit where the product really lives if the underlying tech is good. Solana tech is good, and we don't need multi-chain expansion, right? We also don't need a lot of SVMs. Yeah, I don't know. Just like I do have a strong opinion that is loosely held here until I'm proven otherwise. I'm gonna hold strong at saying that Solana has potential to be the global value transfer settlement layer for a lot of shit, and we don't really need Base to help us with that.
Right.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So do you want to move on to our next deep dive?
We got one more deep dive, and let me tell you, it's gonna get wet.
Or dry. Yeah,
dry. Yeah, maybe that's better.
Yeah, the joke has gotten a little dry.
Yeah.
So if you remember our podcast last week, we were super excited for the public sale of the WET token, just because like the previous sales of the WET token had gone so well. The WET list sold out, as well as the Jupe staker allocation also sold out. I think the Jupe staker allocation sold out in like a minute and 18 seconds. It was super quick. It's like $2 million, like boom, like that.
I was asleep. I thought maybe I'll wake up an hour later and it's still there, but yeah, fuck that. It was just gone.
Yeah. But then there was like 24 hours, or maybe 12 hours. Yeah, 12 hours. 12 hours after the Jupe staker allocation was sold out, they had a public sale. And in that public sale, it was sold out in less than a second. And this is how it played out. The good news is the WET presale was very hyped and a lot of people wanted to get in. The bad news, just a few botters were able to use bundled transactions to snipe a substantial amount of the supply in seconds. Good news, after discussing with the Humidify team, we're going to find a solution to ensure a more equitable distribution.
What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, let's look at some more facts, Simon. 4% public sale supply went to just 10 wallets. Pre-sale was completely botted. Basically rugged. And yes, Jupiter Exchange is to blame. He provides these addresses. It's concerning, right? I mean, is it just me?
I mean, it's what I find a bit concerning, and I'm not, firing shots here. I'm just stating the obvious. Is that I'm hoping that we have the right tech by now to, avoid these kind of launches, especially if the launch is being facilitated by a team that has been literally doing nothing else than token launches, like or liquidity provisioning and so on. Like Meteora are fucking chats, right? Like they are probably the smartest we have on Solana when it comes to building this tech. And why do we still get that problem with the launch on it's a brand new launch pad. There's a lot of skin in the game, right? Like to do it right. Would you agree with me that DTF kind of, definitely fucked up when it comes to with their first launch here to do it like we're not even talking about token performance. The token's not even out yet, right? We're not even talking about token performance of that token launch. We're talking just about making sure that the tech is okay, right? To attract other projects. Are other projects now going to be like, hell yeah, I want to go to DTF and launch there? I think it looks a bit risky now from the outside. So it's a bit spicy.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate. I hate to see it. It's sloppy work. I know the Jupiter team can do better. I mean, like, there's no nice way to say it, right? Like this, it's a bit of a clusterfuck.
As well from Jupiter, I think we haven't pulled that up one yet. The public statement, right? We are fixing this. Here's the plan. We will be voiding the public sale phase that happened on the 4th of December. Exactly. All addresses that committed to this phase of the sale will be refunded their USDC commitment soon. Okay, so all public sale participants, alrighty. Participants who successfully committed to the wet list and Jupe stakers are still retaining their allocations will be able to claim them from the DTF page at TGE time. The good news, the wet public sale phase will be relaunched on Monday 8th, that is today, at 10 a.m. ET, that is in a few hours, with added counter botnets measures being worked on in conjunction with the humidified team. Okay, thanks for, I mean, I was hoping they already figured it out, but it looks like they're still fucking around, which is okay, it's fine. But after 2-3 years of building, we definitely need to stop fucking around and start finding out. So the current red token, here's the CA, is voided, will not be the official token of Humidify, guys. Okay, so please keep that in mind. It has been unverified from Jupiter. All supply that is accessible by the TF team will be burnt, 900 million wet. So yeah, there's a summary here, guys. You'll find it on the Jupiter page at Jupiter Exchange if you are curious and you want to know what's happening.
Yeah, and there's also this, if you're looking over at the official statement from the Humidify account. So what's going to happen next in Waterworld? We're creating a new token. All wetlist and Jupe staker buyers will receive a pro rata airdrop. The sniper is not getting shit. Fuck that guy. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Humidify comps.
Yeah. Why is it?
And I want to be really clear.
Enough?
I really want this launch to go well. Okay, let's be very, very clear. I want DTF to do well. I want Jupiter to do well. I don't know, Simon. Do you feel like Jupiter works on too many things?
Yeah, Here's my take on it, and I'm a big user of the product. I like Jupe Mobile outperformed, I think, most other wallets. Like, I'm obviously a fan of other wallets as well, as you might be able to tell. But there is definitely a point to make that Jupiter Mobile has built a great product. So they do good things, right? And for the ecosystem as well. But what they're just not well organized. Sorry, guys. Like, I don't know what you do internally, but I think the whole structure of, there's no management and, like, everyone reports to, like there's no, I think I'm not in there, right? But I think the corporate structure of Jupiter needs to be rethought. They might need to get they might need to get a company in-house that just consults them. I think they're a great consulting case, honestly. Like, my high school friends, my university friends that are now all working in consulting, I'm the only weirdo that went into crypto and not some of the TradFi and consulting jobs. They would love this case, and they would love to look at, okay, what is Jupiter Exchange? What is the company doing? What is the product? What are the products? What are the features? How they're set up? What does the team look like? How's the management being done? It's a great business kind of case study, honestly, of what doesn't work and what needs to be done to make it work. It can be, it can work, but I think they got some deeper problems potentially under the hood.
Yeah. So, if I were to bring up a test case on Solana of another team that works on a bunch of shit and does very, very well, is Bonk, right? I think Bonk does one of the best jobs at juggling so many different products. Now, one could make the case that, hey, you cannot be comparing Bonk to Jupiter. Like, Jupiter has higher TVL for its products. It has a lot more usage on its products. On some level, I agree with that argument. But it's just super clear to me that there needs to be. It's not so much that Jupiter needs to reduce the amount of products as they need to increase the amount of internal leaders, and they have plenty of competent and smart people who work there. And so it just kind of feels like, there needs to be more attention paid from A to Z by a single person who, that's all they do. And I'm sure to some degree, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't work at Jupiter.
We're only looking from the outside, right? We're literally like consultants, and even worse, because we didn't get a pile of papers to analyze. We're just looking from what we see on the timeline and from what we hear from our friends, right? So really take all this with a grain of salt. But I want to see these teams win, obviously, and I believe there's a lot you can do. Bonk is built different because they have a bunch of independent teams, highly independent teams that are doing their own shit, that are just enabled by Bonk, right? But Jupiter is very different, right? Like I think they are a bit more centralized as an entity. I think the teams do report, in a different manner to each other and are being held accountable because of also underlying incentives, probably. It's different, right? For Bonk, it's almost like they have they invest in a project, and then Moonwalk is out there, and it's not officially affiliated with Bonk, but obviously they get a lot of backing from them. They have shares in the company, and they're going to help them. They're going to enable them. But Moonwalk is their own company. But so it's a bit different, I think, the setup here, and this works very well for the Bonk eco.
Yeah, I think it does work very well. So anyways, onwards and upwards for the Jupe team and for the wet pre-sale. They're doing another public sale today, if I'm not mistaken. So best of luck to everybody.
10 a.m. Yeah, but if you're already in the staking list, then you'll have a guaranteed allocation. Just to keep that in mind as well. Cool. Then looking at our flash trade order here, it did not trigger yet. So we've been Japanino, but we didn't catch that long. So yeah, I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna close the order because I don't want to do it off stream. We're gonna try another one next time. We're gonna try another one next time when we're live again. But we covered the most important news here today on the timeline, and also when it comes to Solana.
Do you want to cover one more piece of news? It's a pretty big piece of sponsored news.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that is very relevant. We have to cover that.
Yes. Just at least one, which is it's really, really big. Which is Solflare. They've just released a new product, and Vidor wrote this really long think piece about why he released this product. There's obviously we're not going to read through this whole thing, but basically the TLDR here is that if you've ever used hardware devices, they fucking suck for a variety of reasons: cables, dead batteries, unclear flows, etc., etc. And now if you remember, we saw this kind of like video last week, but we didn't know what they were talking about. It's the Solflare Shield. It's a hardware wallet. You tap to authorize transactions in your Solflare hot wallet. So it's like kind of like a combo hot, cold. That's super interesting. It's really, really cool.
It is really cool. And the customization option is also cool, but it's just a nice gimmick, honestly. I was approached by Solflare before that campaign, and we helped them with a bit of product feedback. That's all I can say when it comes to finding the best way to market this product. And they were thinking a lot about how should there be customization options? Should there be like a premium version, like a metal or whatever? And I think now they came to a very good data-based result here, which is you have 3 different, I think, versions of the product. There's kind of the OG Shield that is like pretty lean and minimalistic. But then you also have like a double pack that you can get, where you get like 2 for like a better price. And then you also have one where you can customize. So the signature version, I think, is where you can really get like exclusive designs from other artists. And this one is the unique one, is the one where you can customize your own things. And you can just slap on whatever. So we can make a Sol Brothers version of it. I can create a Solana ID version of it. There's a beautiful Flash Trade UI already posted by the Flash Trade main account. Of a Solflare Shield with Flash Trade branding on it. So it's just cool. It's a nice gimmick. But that is all cherry on top. What is really bullish is that this is actually, again, fairly innovative, because it helps you to sign transactions with a cold wallet with your phone, without having to plug in some weird ass cables and carry around some device that looks like it's from 2010. Nope, you have like something that's really slick. It has an NFC chip. You just have to hold it on your phone, and it adds just another layer of security to your Solflare wallet, because without that thing, you just can't send money around with your phone. So even if someone cracks that phone, and even if someone cracks that wallet and gets into that wallet, that's already a lot of steps to take. Then now they need also that card to take off your millions of dollars you have in your Solflare wallet. If they don't have that card, if they don't have the hardware for it, they can't sign any transactions, right? And vice versa, the same thing. If you only have that card, it's useless as well, right? You got to have the private key, you got to have that wallet as well. And If you have the visual enabled right now when you watch this, if you're watching on YouTube at Sol Brothers Pod, then you can see we are showing right now on the screen the flash rate version of it. What do you think, Eno?
I think it's really sexy, by the way.
Yeah,
and also a stroke of marketing genius. I really like Solflare's approach to product here. They're doing it so much differently than the other teams on Solana. Specifically, their focus on hardware is unparalleled in the ecosystem. This is what you would expect from a really mature Web 2 company. Like, I feel like Solflare has some of the best operations I've seen so far. There are plenty of teams that have money, right? But money cannot buy taste. Money cannot buy class. Money cannot buy, this feeling of like, even their, maybe I'm glazing a little too hard here for Solflare, but like their campaign with the Porsche, the multiple vehicles, sports cars, like it's just professional. Like no one else is operating on that level. It's pretty amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. No, it is true, and especially putting this next to some of the other companies we covered in today's podcast, you see some differences. And I don't know if it's cultural, if it's leadership as well, right? So big shout out to Philip and Vibhu, who are leading the charge at Solflare. And this is not us ass kissing our sponsors. We pick our sponsors. We make conscious decisions of who to work with, and we picked Solflare because we actually do believe that they do a good job, right? So we're not, and myself, we're not hungry for the sponsorship deals here. Luckily, we have a say in that discussion, and that was always the goal for Sol Brothers, right? Like to have some sort of independency and of course we need sponsors, but I want to be in the lead here. I don't want to need to work with a project that I don't want to work with because I don't like it. So yeah, what else? You got something else?
Nope, that's we're going to close out the podcast here today. Really appreciate everybody joining. And Vibhu, if you're still listening, just want to say, maybe take it a little bit easy on the on the timeline.
He's not going to do that. I mean, I hear you, but he's not going to take your advice. I think he's right now on, I don't know if he's on test or something, but he's definitely aggressive on the timeline.
Yeah.
And I think it's, maybe we need it. Maybe it's good. Just say what you think out there, and let's see what happens. Deal with the consequences after.
Actually, he gave me a piece of advice that I've seen him tweeting a lot more now on the timeline as well. But he said that, and it really hit me the right way, which is you can't accomplish meaningful things if you're too scared of people not liking you. That doesn't mean that you have to go out of your way to be an asshole. But it certainly also means that like sometimes you're going to have to say the hard thing. And especially if the hard thing is meaningful, you should fucking say it. So
and then important is to have some healthy distance from what people will tell you, because don't let them get under your skin, I guess. Because it's gonna happen. If you have strong opinions and you actually put them out there, and you're not scared to put them out there, you have to deal with the consequences, as I said. And they might be sometimes, especially on Twitter, they can be painful, at least at first glance. And that's where the subtle art of not giving a fuck comes in. And you gotta have that distance and confidence as well in your own opinions, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I very much do give a fuck.
Work in progress. Work in progress, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sol Brothers Pod this week. It's a big week. We're going to see you again later this week on Thursday. If you want to join the live streams, we do stream every week, twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to give you the latest and greatest here. But if you want to consume the content after we are live, then head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button for the channel at Sol Brothers Pod. Also leave a like on the videos because it helps us a lot and it doesn't cost you anything. We'll see you at the next one. Until then, stay safe out there. Peace out.